So before I was a Christian, a lot of what I struggled with was anxiety and depression. Especially growing up, my anxiety was really bad. I was always the people pleaser and the funny guy who found his purpose in making people laugh and making them, kind of giving them that community that I didn't necessarily feel like I had.
Well, I was going through a difficult time in my life. No one around me at the time was seeking Christ. When I reached to a point in my life where I just felt completely lost, and I always wanted to do the right thing, but I didn't know what the right thing was. My intention was never to hurt anybody by doing, just making simple decisions. Just testing life out, and it just spun out of control.
And then in 2016, my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer, and in 2020, she ended up passing away. That was really my lowest point in time, because it was also during COVID when I didn't necessarily have a lot of friends, because I never saw them anymore. School everything got shut down. So I was losing a lot of friends. I lost my mom. My family as a whole was struggling. So I just really sank to kind of almost like a pit of just despair and sadness.
When I felt so lost, I went to a park, I think it was Francis Park. I went down there and I sobbed. I cried as hard as I've ever cried. And I asked God, I said, God, please tell me, what am I doing wrong? I mean, you know my heart. I will give it all to you right now.
I was struggling a lot more in a lot of different ways, trying to find healing in things that weren't necessarily working. So growing up, I didn't necessarily have my own faith. It was really just church on Sundays, and that was about it. I didn't go to any youth groups. I didn't really talk about Christianity. I would label myself as it, but I didn't really know what that meant. But after finding some community up at Michigan State through InterVarsity and actually having those conversations of what did Jesus do for us? As simple as a question may sound, it's just something that if you don't intentionally think about, like, he died on the cross, but you don't necessarily think about well, I'm a sinner and he took all my sins. And that kind of learning why him dying on the cross was so important, and of course his resurrection.
I was in kindergarten or first grade, so I don't remember as much as I wish I did. But I just was asking myself questions like, what happens when you die? How did I get born? How was I alive? How did I become alive? Just things like that. And so I started asking my mom and dad these questions. One day we were going to school. I was asking my mom, and her answers were, well, Jesus. And I was like, he sounds amazing. I want to know more about him. So she explained to him kind of how Christianity works. And so I was like, I want to believe in him. Tell me how this works. So right there and then, I opened my heart up to Jesus, and I've been a Christian since then.
I sat down there at the park for 2 hours, and I was watching sermon videos, and it spoke to me. And I felt like I got the answers that I needed. So I got home, and I felt like the chains were lifted, they were broken, and ever since I've been chasing Christ, trying to get to know God's heart and what he wants his people to do.
I would say that baptism, for me, it isn't necessarily about getting saved, which is kind of what I thought growing up. It's just like a box you had to check off. But I realize now that it's more so about that it's a public declaration and kind of a symbol of what has changed within you that others are able to see, and that you're able to say, this is where I'm officially saying that I have changed and that I've given my life to Christ.
For someone who struggles with ADHD, I was on medication 2 years ago at the time. I was smoking cigarettes, I was on all these things, and I had a deep conviction after I gave my life to Christ that day in the car when I was at the park to quit all these things. I knew God had me, it was just a deep conviction.
I want to be baptized for a few reasons, because if you look around at this world, it's just so broken and heartbreaking. So there has to be hope somewhere, and that hope is God.
I want to get baptized because I've been through some struggles in the last 15 years of my life, and and I just recently gave my life back to God. And I just think this is the best next chapter of my life. It means everything to me right now.
My name is Addison, and today I'm getting baptized.
My name is Timothy Ganser, and today I'm getting baptized.
My name is Mason Fielding, and today I'm getting baptized.